Hello and welcome back to the Corner 3 Show. My name is Alex.
My name's Ross.
My name is Zach.
And we're back. It's NBA season. The preseason has started. Pacers basketball's back. I can't even talk. I'm so excited. It's a new era in Indianapolis, in Indiana basketball.
New jerseys.
It's homegrown.
New players.
We have a lot to discuss.
A lot of old players. Damian Wilkins. But a lot to talk about here. A lot of interesting stuff to talk about here. We've got a big show for you. But before we talk about what the people want, let's talk about what people can expect. New podcasts around Monday mornings. Mm-hmm. We'll try to keep that up, and we'll let you know if anything comes up. But that's our plan for right now. Special guest Jeremiah Johnson just tweeted us and said he wants to be on. So we're gonna get some special guests on. Pat Boylan, hopefully, maybe even some Pacers players. We'll see what happens. Ross, congratulations. Let's give a round of applause to Ross for making the Turner's Block. Ross, you have any words for us?
Thank you. No, you can read my story at ipacers.com.
Why don't you send Miles a thank you?
I did. Tweets.
No.
Right here.
Miles Turner, Pacers organization. Thank you for selecting me. All I had was a simple speech.
All right, thanks, Ross. So now
you muted my mic.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, that's
Thank
awesome.
you guys for cheering me on. I think
that's
that's
awesome.
awesome.
That's awesome. Ross killed it.
Miles was nodding. Do you think he listens to us?
Shout out Miles Turner.
No,
he's
doesn't.
listening.
There's
right
no
now.
way he actually listens to us.
All right, so Ross is going to give us some inside looks. We're going to be going to a lot of games this year, more than last year for sure. Just going to be checking out the Pacers. I mean, it's a cool time because we don't know what to expect. Some NCAA coverage as well. Butler's going to be good again. We'll talk about what's going on right now in college basketball on a later show. And then maybe some live shows too.
We
Sun
may
King.
redo Sun King.
Yeah.
We're going to change up, I think, the format
Switch
a little
some
bit.
things up.
Yeah.
But because Jeremiah was interested
Yeah.
about that, and Sun King says we'd love to have you back. So maybe we could do like an interview with Jeremiah or just
Yeah.
have him part of the panel. I don't know.
We need speakers in there. People can hear us talk.
Yeah, get more fan interaction. So we may bring that back.
Maybe.
We're going to see.
Maybe.
But it's going to be awesome. So let's get right into the nitty-gritty. So it's a new era in Indiana. There's a new logo, new secondary logo, which I think is pretty awesome. For those of you watching on YouTube, you can see it on the wall up here. But new jerseys, new gear, a lot of new players, a lot of new faces, a new practice facility, state of the art. There's a lot going on. So I'll get us started. What are you guys most excited about? Zach?
This will be a change from what I said earlier, especially when they first came out. When they first came out, I hated the new jerseys. Mm-hmm. But after going to the team store on Friday at the grand opening, seeing them in person, I like them.
And then for those watching on YouTube, this is the shirt Victor wore in one of his photo shoots that I'm wearing. But I love the Nike gear. Zach and I both got
I bought some as well. They're just a little tight right now, so
His muscles.
I'll be holding off on
nice
those
shirts.
for a couple weeks. But
Ross?
no,
go ahead.
looking forward to the new jerseys. I hated them. Everyone knew I hated them. See them in person. I love them.
Yeah, I wanted to hear you guys' opinions when you went to the store opening.
Yeah.
And
What did
you think?
It's a lot cleaner.
Yeah, I mean, it's Nike. I've always been a big Nike fan. They just take a really modern approach to all their stuff. Not a lot of jargon on there. There's not a lot of stuff other than the logo and the stripes. It's all pretty sleek. I mean, it's just a shirt with the Nike logo and Pacers on it, but it looks good.
It's not going to shrink. It's dry fit.
Yeah, I like all the gear. And then the team store looks good too. So it was a little cluttered before, I thought, but I think they did a good job.
There wasn't a lot of Mad Ants stuff there. I thought there might be a little bit more of that since they kind of promoted that. But for you Fort Wayne people, it'll probably be good enough.
There's like 2 of those listeners, but we appreciate you very much so.
Yeah. So Ross, what's
my
excited
thoughts?
about?
I'm excited. Just overall, it's a weird but perfect timing with a true change of an era of losing a superstar, and you literally change everything else from him. The team, the logo, the jerseys. Well, not the logo so much, kind of the logo-ish. The court. The facility. So many things have changed. It's a nice way of, here's a new team. I'm nervous about them, but I'm excited at the same time because they got all this fun stuff. So even though the team may be bad next year, it gives you other things to cheer for. I'm not looking forward to how much I'm going to spend on all the new gear.
Which is a lot.
Jerseys alone are $118.
I think for the real ones are like 180.
The authentic are $200. The replicas
I think after taxes,
are
it's $118.
$118.
Oh, wow.
Ouch! But I'm already going to get a couple. Because Pacers have. Well, you're going to get to that later, I think. 5 new jerseys.
Yeah, no, 5 new jerseys. Yeah, I accidentally broke news that wasn't
We thought it was
news.
breaking because we took a month off and missed that.
And I definitely deleted the guy. I didn't even address him because I don't feel like I need to address people on here.
No,
I didn't even get to see it.
No, so
we're not that important.
The white, the blue, the yellow have always got to have the banana suits.
Mm-hmm.
The hickory is coming back, and the fifth has not been shown. But
is
there's
not-
only 8 teams that have that fifth one. So
Yeah.
is it ABA themed? Is it FloJo? Is it something
Indy
else?
500?
IndyCar.
500, yeah. When you tweeted out the picture of the shirt, or someone did.
It's like
Pacers
a half
account,
basketball downtown.
I feel like
IndyCar.
that may have something to do with
kinda
what
cool.
that fifth one is.
It's pretty interesting. But yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. To be honest, I'm excited about the players because there's so much energy, so much unknown with all these guys. A lot of these younger guys we acquired, I've been fans of. I really like Corey Joseph all these years. I've liked Oladipo because of how hard he works and his mentality, and listening to a lot of his interviews. We'll talk about him later, but he sounds like he's a man on a mission. But let's just get right into it. So the latest news, Glenn Robinson III is out 8 weeks, high severe ankle sprain. They thought it was going to be a lot worse. He thought it was a lot worse. And I can speak when I had a really bad one. I thought I tore my knee to shreds and everything in my leg. But that's how bad high ankle sprains can be. So he's out 8 weeks. Big loss because he looks like he was going to be the backup small forward and play a lot of minutes.
He's going to compete for the starting position over Bogdanovich, right, for the small forward spot. Didn't you tell me before that high ankle sprains almost worse than a break?
Yeah.
In some instances.
Considering how bad your high ankle sprain is, doctors will even consider to break your ankle so it'll heal faster and heal more complete.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's scary.
It can be pretty bad.
But 8 weeks doesn't sound like a severe ankle sprain. I mean, it sounds bad, obviously.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, it just depends on how fast you can heal. I mean, if you have had multiple ankle sprains and multiple bad high ankle sprains, you could be out 2-3 months, depending on how fast it heals, because your ankle has less and less support and less structure there. But I mean, I'm just thankful he's okay.
Well, who's going to play the backup small forward now?
That's the question, right? So it's been rumored TJ Leaf may get more playing time there, or Damian Wilkins is going to make the team.
Yeah, so that's always been interesting. The 37-year-old who's played had a couple very, very short stints around the NBA. Last year, I think he played for the Delaware 87ers. I think that's what they're called.
I don't remember.
But yeah, it's really interesting. I wish we gave it to Poitras.
I was going to say, there are other options. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was looking. I try to get as much out of those Pacers, like 10-second clips as you can from training camp. And it looked like Poitras was playing some with the second team, too. So I would like to see him make the team, a guy with more upside than, a 37-year-old who's not going to be around next year. So.
Pacers was saying maybe give Poitras one of the actual contracts instead of that two-way contract. Open that up for someone else, maybe like a Ben Moore, to get the two-way contract. Put Poitras on because there is how many open spots on the roster right now? I think one. Just one. So yeah, that's what I've been reading. Other Pacers guys have been talking about. Ben Moore or Poitras. They're hoping to get some of those minutes, but we'll see what Nate decides to do.
Probably Poitras.
I hope. We'll see.
We don't know.
All right, so I think this is a new section of our podcast we're going to include. It's called the Rant Zone. So everyone's going to bring their rants every week. Can't
wait for the
got
second one, but go ahead.
So the first one is I think it was about a week and a half ago. There was a Ringer article, and we're fans of the Ringer here for the most part. We like a lot of their podcasts. By Mark Titus, an indie boy. He went to Brownsburg, played at Ohio State. But he wrote an article, Pacers franchise, the most mediocre franchise, the byline, basically, of the past 20 years. And I got into it with him for about like a 20-tweet Twitter battle, which, those always end well for both sides. But what was your guys' thoughts on the article? I mean,
Stupid.
It was stupid. I think because, first of all, mediocre has a negative connotation just coming out of your mouth.
Just starting with the mediocre. If I had to pick one NBA team, their entire history, their run as mediocre, Raptors,
Hornets.
Timberwolves, Hornets, who have never done anything of any kind of importance, either ABA, NBA, or even got to an Eastern Conference Finals.
or stayed relevant for a long time.
Yeah, been
too,
at least playoff contender.
Well, his
I know
arguments
those
were
are
so
younger teams, but
stupid.
still.
It was like, why would you be mediocre? Either go all in or just tank. And it's
Yeah, see, that's the thing that really bothers me is the part where you're either the Warriors, the Celtics, or the Cavs, or you should be tanking, because if you're anywhere in between, you're not doing anything right. Well, you're one injury away from, not this year, but the Pacers in the past were one injury away. I'm sorry that they didn't draft LeBron James and have the luxury of having him. They did the best they could. They drafted a superstar. They put a great team around him. And, we went to 2 Game 7s against one of the best teams of all time.
Yeah, that's a Ringer theme, is tank or championship, right? Yeah. If you're not going to compete, then what's the point? Which I despise that attitude, because then there should only be 5 teams, 6 teams in the whole NBA.
Yeah, his solution was move the team, like go to Seattle or another place, or build an Indiana team about Indiana legends. I'm like, what's the chances of you getting Conley and Randolph,
a lot of Indiana
and all these guys?
It's
like, you're not going to be able to afford that. That's the stupidest thing.
And moving to Seattle is not going to help this issue of
what's
mediocrity.
mediocre? What's mediocrity got to do with Seattle?
Look how basically lucky Cleveland got by drafting LeBron James. Look how lucky a lot of these top teams got. Look at Stephen Curry. He wasn't a top 5 draft pick. Neither was Klay Thompson. Neither was Draymond Green. They just drafted well, and so did the Pacers. If the Pacers make 1 or 2 better calls there, if they don't trade George Hill, or if they don't do something else down the line, then that team's even better. But that team was the number 1 seed for 1 year, or I think 2 years at one point, and they competed right there with one of the best teams of all time. So I had a lot of issues with that article. As you can go back and look at my Twitter battle with Mark Titus, but
that's one of those articles where he's just trying to make something up during the summer.
Pot,
There's nothing else going on.
Yeah. And he knows the Pacers because he's from Indiana originally, and he has that insight. Because then a week later, they had another article about the NBA should really be 18 teams or something like that.
Yeah,
they just are like, let's just get everyone riled up before the season starts.
The NBA is such a good product right now. They have a great commissioner who the players love, who the owners love, who everyone likes. You have some of the best teams. You've had the best ratings in recent years in these playoff series, even though there are really only 3 teams that probably will win the championship. These other teams are really exciting. I think the Nike partnership is huge for the NBA, because a lot of people didn't like the other gear before, and Nike is everyone's favorite by far. They're the biggest shoe company in the world. Everything's going right for them. There's an abundance of superstars. The NBA has never had this many legitimate superstars. The MVP this year might be the Greek Freak, and they might be like the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
from Milwaukee. Why? They didn't tank to get him. He was a reach where they got him because he wasn't that good. No one knew who he was. He played basketball 3 years. You cannot. The NBA is just in a perfect state, and when it's not in a perfect state, in a really good place. So when that happens, you got to find other arguments to talk about.
Yeah. That Ringer also had an article today, which I haven't had a chance to read yet. Let me pull it back up. About the Pacers. It wasn't Mark Titus this time. Without Paul George, the success of the Pacers relies on turning Miles Turner into a star. Best and worst case for the Indiana Pacers. So another Pacer article. Check it out.
Shout out to Ringer for being interested in Indianapolis.
I appreciate it. Yeah. That was kind of shocking.
Yeah.
3 stories and the second one's kind of open, but.
So what do you guys think on the next subject? What do you think about Paul George's comments this week? It seems like this guy cannot keep his foot out of his mouth.
Yes.
I mean, literally, or other places.
Blood pressure rising.
Do you remember last year when I talked about, when he was still on the Pacers, when I talked about how he likes to talk just to talk almost, and he is like an NBA 2K18 My Player mode, where you're given 4 different answers at a press conference. You have to choose the best one, and he always chooses the second best one. You know how in the game there's 4.
One's fans will love me, or I'm an arrogant a-hole.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pick right in the middle.
Yeah, there's 4 choices. One is clearly the best choice. One is I'm kind of arrogant, but I'll be fake nice.
Nice.
He chooses that every single time.
Every single time.
I think that's the best way to compare this. He was asked about the not even asked about the Danny Granger trade, but he brought it up and said, I looked at how they treated someone who brought the franchise back. It was they traded him because they knew that he was going to be waived immediately and he could sign anywhere he wanted to. It was the best case scenario for Danny Granger, because then he could sign wherever he wanted to.
And they're trying to get players in a trade to help you win a championship.
And he actually tweeted about Evan Turner. I can't wait to play with this guy. He's going to make us better. Really looking forward to this.
So shut up. I just
5 years later, I pretend that didn't happen. I'm going to say what everyone wants to hear right now.
And then the couple days before, he had the comments of, "Well, I didn't actually expect the Pacers were going to trade me like this."
That's the dumbest
no
comment.
No one thought the Thunder were
interested.
I'm
going to leave next year, so you're going to get nothing for me.
And
he
was
traded me?
Yeah.
What? And he was offended by the trade of the Thunder, because then he said in his words, they're basically saying you're gonna get beat by the Warriors. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
He just literally cannot keep his mouth shut.
Like, for those, this is a PSA, though. It is 9 o'clock on a Sunday evening. We're all very tired. It's been a long weekend, long week. So that's why we're a little bit feisty. But,
No,
I mean,
no, that's fine.
I mean, it's true, though. I mean, we all loved when Paul George was a Pacer because he was the best Pacers player of all time. Because of his talent, because of how much he could do for the team. He had the case to be, at points in his career, he was a top 5 player in the league. And he would just say things that stirred up, the fan base, whether it was not playing at the 4, whether it was commenting about, commitment to the city or now this stuff. It was always stuff that kind of just pushed us the wrong way, but we saw past it because
He's our best player.
He's our best player. And, we want him to stay here. Of course we did. I'd be very happy Paul George was still a Pacer today and he was committed to this team. But that's not the way things go. But to talk like that, to talk like you had no idea they're going to trade you, to talk like the Pacers didn't treat Danny Granger right. It's like,
yeah.
What are you talking about, man?
I mean, Bird probably could have handled that situation differently. I mean, he's trying to get a player who could play versus one who's obviously out, but the locker room was something maybe Bird didn't understand correctly. The stuff could have been done differently, management side. But Paul's comments right after it happened are totally opposite from what he's saying now. It's frustrating from the outside just to watch him
and
say
then his
these
comments
things.
of this week, it's nice seeing a small market team do everything
I
they
have
can.
it.
Read it off, Ross. Read it.
Paul George, I'm real excited. It just goes to show how a small market can stay aggressive in the trade place and can really do whatever it needs to do for the players' sake to give them the best chance to win, man. It's pretty impressive Oklahoma has now 3 superstars and gave this state a legitimate chance to win a championship. The most beautiful thing about it is that this organization lets all their players know what's going on. There's nothing under the table. There's nothing hidden. I've been here so far, so I was aware of what was going on. I was extremely happy. I was pushing for this opportunity to play with Carmelo. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, thoughts on that?
You just said that you didn't like the fact that the Pacers traded Danny Granger to the 76ers because of the guy's feelings and what he'd done for the organization. Yet you say that you're so happy that an organization will do anything it can to bring you the right players.
It's very interesting.
We did that. We didn't plan that one.
No, he didn't
That
play
was
that one.
weirdly perfectly timed.
And
then what did Oklahoma City trade to get these superstars?
well, the thing is, it's not like
Pennies on the dollar.
the Pacers were trying to keep their core intact, win the championship. No. Thunder are like, oh, we'll throw Canner out there because he can't play defense. He's a good scorer, but he comes off the bench
And York
most
goes,
of the time.
okay.
And York is getting rid of an older Carmelo Anthony, not what he used to
not.
be.
Did we basically the 2 guys who you just traded for in Oklahoma City basically put their other teams in hostage situations where you had nothing to do but trade them? Like Melo was not going to report to
It was
Knicks
a perfect storm for Oklahoma City.
Paul
to get
George
those
didn't
2
want to
guys.
ever come back to the Pacers. Like in that softball game, 2 days before his agent leaked that he wanted to leave. I still committed to winning a championship in Indianapolis. No, you're not. Your agent already told Kevin Pritchard that I want to leave. Come on, man.
Get out of here.
I mean, just say you enjoyed your time in Indianapolis and that, you had a great run, which you did. It was unfortunate what happened with your injury and, Lance left and Roy turned into
Pudding.
He's not even signed.
I don't know.
Pudding.
I don't know what he turned into. And, David West left. It's it sucks, but that's what happened. I mean, it's basketball. Not everything's going to be perfect. That's why, the tanking thing is you tank and then you win. It's name me one team right now that's winning that tanked to get to this position. Are the 76ers in that great a position? Wouldn't even know what these guys
They're not even proven.
Yeah.
Just
All right.
assumptions.
The Warriors didn't tank to get their guys. They just kind of drafted well.
I know.
So that game in November or December, whenever it is, against Oklahoma City will be very
December
interesting.
13th.
Thank you. Everybody, let's go and
All right, let's talk about the future now. Let's talk about the future.
Happy thoughts.
Let's talk about the 2 guys the Pacers got back for Paul George. 2 young guys, Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis. All right, let's get our thoughts on Victor first. Coming back with a vengeance. If you don't know if you've heard some of his interviews, but he's talking about, I'm the alpha. I feel like I'm the leader on this team. And I like that. I mean, I was pushing miles there. And, I mean, from all the stuff I've read from training camp thus far, it sounds like he's dominating.
Well, I mean, he's never averaged less than 13-some points a game since his rookie year. And, he's always averaged, at least, he's averaging, 15 points a game over his career. He's not a bad three-point shooter. He's been doing all this, and he's only averaged, a 19% usage rate.
Yeah.
And imagine last year, if he averaged 15.9 points last year with Russell Westbrook the stats won't say it, but his usage rate was like 90%. So him getting a chance to be the alpha, take over, he hasn't really had that chance since he's really gotten used to playing in the NBA. I'm not saying it could happen, but he could play his way into an all-star spot if he's getting his chance. He's going to get his run finally, his chance to be the alpha.
They asked Nate which 3 players need to step up for the Pacers to have a shot. He named Miles, Oladipo, and Lance as his potential all-star guys. I think Oladipo, like all the things that you said, now that he's going to get a shot, more usage rate, I don't know if he's going to be an efficient player, but he's going to put up numbers, I think, with the Pacers, especially since there is no proven go-to scorer yet. Miles never really has had that. This year he'll be looked to, so he'll have to grow into it. Yeah. We're going to see a lot of good things from Oladipo, I think, and I'm really looking forward to watching him run up and down the floor with those guys.
No, I like him, and I like that 3-headed monster of Oladipo, Miles Turner, and then Lance. I mean, that's a solid group of guys who can play multiple positions.
Lance off the bench?
Yeah, I mean, I like Lance off the bench.
Yeah, it gives him his opportunity.
It sounds like he's excited too. It sounds like he's excited.
He knows his role.
Yeah, and he's going to play. He's going to be in the game the last 6 minutes of the game. Like
triple-double Lance is back.
He's going to be in there. So I'm really excited about this. I think that the lineup will be Victor, probably, and it's going to be either Lance. Lance is going to either come in for Darren or Bojan.
Yeah,
and I think whoever's having the better game, he'll come in for or. He won't come in for that. He'll go in for the other guy. But I like him. I mean, he's he's like 6'5". He can guard 1 through 3. So can Lance. It looks like they're going to play him at some point guard too. So I'm excited about him. And then Sabonis, he's kind of like that modern big man. He can shoot the ball. He can kind of guard a couple of different positions. He's a banger too, which we need. We need on this team.
I honestly don't know enough about him to give a comment because he was a rookie last year in OKC, and when you watch OKC, you don't focus on the random white guy running down the court.
Is that Singler or Sabonis or Abrinas or it doesn't matter. No, I'm actually really excited about Sabonis. I don't know if it's because I don't know anything about him and what I'm hoping that he can become. I'm envisioning in my head Derek McKee, something like that, tall guy who can do all the little stuff, not going to fill the stat sheet. And from everything that they've been reporting out of training camp, he kind of is that way. If you heard his interviews, he's kind of I'm really happy to be here. He's just kind of like give the single answer. He's kind of
I love it. Just what we need in Indiana. Just a guy who just like
I'm here for business.
I can't wait to play. But
I just want to play, man.
It looks he's down low. He's banging. I hope he can become a
good
fan favorite kind of guy who does all the little stuff.
Kind of like a talented Lou Amundsen.
Sure. No, a Thad Young, not as talented
make
Thad
a layup
Young.
or nothing to save his life.
Yeah. All right. Next, we've got Bojan Bogdanovic. From the Nets last year, he had a killer Euro League tournament. I don't know if you guys watched that. He was putting up huge numbers.
25 in the last game. Yeah.
25 points a game. Like, playing really well. I like him. A lot of people kind of criticize that signing because he's an older guy and doesn't really fit maybe the mold, but I think he fits the team, three-point shooting.
I mean, with all their signings this year, we're being prepared to give them flexibility for the next 2. So
absolutely.
They're not going to tie themselves down with a guy with a 5-year contract and overpaying because that's what everybody's doing. So you can't do anything. But he had a great EuroLeague. He's a great free throw shooter, which is what we need at the small forward position. He was 93% last year. I don't think he'll duplicate what he had in the Euro tournament, obviously. Yeah. He averages 12 points a game, so that's probably what I expect out of him with the Pacers. I just expect him to be one of those guys where, Darren Collison likes to drive a lot, maybe get a double team. They're going to space the floor.
Yeah.
He's going to be the next man open for their three-pointer.
He's the kick-out guy.
He's the kick-out. So that's what I expect from him. I don't expect nothing great, but something that I think Pacers fans, he won't be a guy you're really complaining about is what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah. I don't have it in front of me, but I feel like he was more of an up and down kind of player. Have a game of 15 and a game of 3 or so. But losing 3J, Pacers need a shooter who you are very confident is going to be able to knock it down. I feel like he will be the one. I think he'll be more of the 3rd or 4th option on offense, kind of a setup. But I'm happy to have him. I wanted Glenn to start over him, but obviously that's with the injury. We'll see.
Thank goodness we signed him. Thank goodness we signed Bojan now because of that injury. I really like him. I think he's a guy we can depend on. He's an older guy, but he has some flexibility. You remember last year he was with the Nets, and then the Wizards traded for him at the trade deadline to give them that extra piece. So I think again the Pacers can maybe trade him at the deadline to get a younger piece for a team, send him to a team that that needs needs an experienced guy.
That's what I was thinking earlier. I didn't want to get off subject, but when we were kind of going over this outline, I was thinking to myself, I'm looking at the roster and what we expected for the season. I honestly don't expect this team to look the way it does now by the end of the season.
No.
I think they're going to make moves to keep their flexibility open and maybe get some draft picks. Try to move forward because I don't see this team being the same after the trade deadline.
That's a theme I think we're going to hear more and more as the season goes along. Next year's the cap goes up again, but marginally.
Yeah.
So all these teams who now don't have as much cap as they thought they do, the Pacers have a very healthy cap coming into next season. So people can just start dumping those contracts, get some picks back. It's a way to tank without tanking, take on the bad contracts and draft picks, and you just keep sitting in the middle, but you're getting the bad team's contract, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it too. And then Darren Collison, don't really spend much time on him. He's experienced veteran, second time with the Pacers.
He's very happy to be here.
Yeah.
His interview, he's like, "This is home."
Yeah.
Wish I had never.
I mean, he had a great time here in Indiana. I mean, he just got injured, and then George Hill took his place and never regained it. I think when we traded for George Hill, everyone knew that George Hill was the point guard.
Is it bad? I mean, I always liked him when he played for the Pacers. I thought he was a good point guard. I thought he was more of a backup point guard.
Yeah.
But is it bad that the only thing I really remember Darren Collison for is getting elbowed by Dwayne Wade on a fast break in the playoffs?
No.
I mean,
I think if I was off
never
court
had any
stuff,
moments.
which I'd rather not.
that
do,
was the moment.
but
That was the moment.
Yeah.
Like Wade taking a cheap
on
shot
the
on
court,
him.
I can't think of a specific Darren Collison thing.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I
Exactly.
kind of wanted Corey Joseph to start, who we'll talk about next, but both those players are kind of more ideally set for backup, I feel like, but you'd rather have the better backup as their backup, I guess.
More of the true point guard.
Yeah. Darren?
Yeah.
He says he used to always play fast. That was his thing, fast. When I'd get in a situation where I was stressed, I would just get to the hoop, go fast. He goes, now I feel like I've learned, let the game come to me, slow it down a little bit, but still speed is my number one attribute.
Yeah. And then lastly, Corey Joseph. The main reason I like him is because he played for the Spurs and the Spurs drafted him. If you get to acquire a player who the Spurs drafted, then
He must be decent.
They must be good. That's all I have to say about him.
Yeah.
I mean, are we still doing our predictions for this year?
Yeah, I mean, let's just
Okay.
talk about.
Well, I was going to say, just kind of jump ahead. Corey Joe, I was excited for. With a sign and trade, you're not losing anything to get him. And he was a guy I was wanting. I can see him. This will be a prediction, but I'll throw it out there early. I can see him being the starting point guard at some point this year, taking over for Collison. He's not as polished as Collison is, as like a true point guard. But when I was watching him watch the Pacers, it seemed like he was the guy that was killed the Pacers.
Yeah.
And it's like we need that guy
Yeah.
on our squad. So I can see him starting over Collison.
I
at
would
some point.
like that.
I can
That'd
see
be
that too.
fantastic, yeah.
And then we've got a couple D-League guys, Trey McKinney-Jones, Jared Uthoff. They signed the day of Media Day, former Iowa Hawkeye. Ben Moore out of SMU. Daquan Jones, I think out of Wake Forest. I don't know. He's definitely not making the team, but Alex Poitras and then
Miami.
Damian Wilkins, the 37-year-old.
Not G. It's G League. Not
It's the
D-League.
G League. Come on,
yes,
get it right.
yes.
Trey
So,
McKinney-Jones was on the Mad Ants for the last 3 or 4
He
years.
looked really good
He was
in,
on the team that won the championship.
he looked really good in Summer League. I don't know.
Yeah.
He put up some numbers in Summer League.
He's
but
more of a driver than a shooter. Yeah.
I mean, the only guy that really stands out, I mean, a lot of people talk about Ben Moore as a possibility. They
Are-
think he's really talented.
Are any of these guys on the two-way contract?
Just Poitras.
Just Poitras.
Yeah.
I
just
think,
Poitras.
and then Wilkins signed a contract, but it's not guaranteed.
So on the
Same
two-way
with Utah.
contract,
yeah.
I know when you go to the G League, another team can get you if you're not. So the two-way contract kind of keeps you safe.
Locks you in. Yeah.
Locks you in.
You're a
Okay.
Pacer
Okay.
player.
I was curious because I kind of wish they would do that for Ben Moore.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Do you guys want to talk about predictions? Or, I mean, I feel like this podcast really just want to talk about what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Rant a little bit. There's a lot of stuff that we've missed. Probably, a lot of stuff that we missed again. But
well, I think.
Oh, no, I got a Pacer. Sorry.
Go
Not
ahead.
to interrupt.
No,
it just
you-
came to
I
my
don't- I
head.
don't care.
Pacer
Whatever.
thing.
he had nothing, and now he was trying to ad lib.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
go
something
ahead.
that's Pacer related. So Pacers are losing. Something else is changing. The PA announcer, Michael
Oh,
Grady,
yeah.
is leaving. We got to give
Grady.
some props to Michael
Oh,
Grady.
yes.
Have fun.
He
in
was
New
the
York,
best
sir.
too. He was.
Let's
I
name
love
some
Michael Grady.
things. Trifecta.
Yeah.
And
Tua.
2 minutes. We kept that from Reb.
Yeah, he kept that.
But then
But he also, whenever Evan Turner came in the game, he didn't even pronounce his name sometimes.
what's he call him? Jazz hands, McStiltskin or something like that.
yeah,
On the
he hates Evan Turner. Like he hates Evan Turner.
I
with
was
a
listening to the
passion.
podcast on the way here, and he explains why.
Why? What does he say?
because of the trade, and then he calls him Jazzy McStiltskin because he feels like he's a super talented player who just does more flash show to make it look like he's working hard. So on defense, he just moves his hands. He does jazz hands. So what he was mad about is he feels like Turner was already in vacation mode at Philadelphia. You know, season's over in a month. Oh, I get traded to the Pacers. You just get this great opportunity. Go in the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's give it your all.
Gain weight.
Gain weight and then make fun of the team the next year. Well, you're the reason. That's the reason. But so Michael Grady's moving on to a sideline job with the New York Nets.
I'm still confused how he's doing a show with Big Joe
remotely. I don't know how he's going to do that.
Be tough. I don't think he'll be able to do it because his travel schedule is going to be nuts.
Travel schedule and how he's going to keep up on all this. I don't know.
Well, he says he's a night owl. He'll have a lot of league pass. He's been doing this since 2010. He's been the PA. Did you know it's been 7 years?
Has anybody been hired or interviewed?
The interview process is going on right now.
Oh.
On Monday, tomorrow, they're doing today for you listening. Yeah, hopefully for today for you listeners, they're doing the final auditions at Banker's Life.
I did see a producer,
that will be weird.
Kyle.
Yeah, he was awful. Like
I haven't heard him, but I saw him say I made the final round.
He does the Dan Dockich radio show, and his thing was his audition.
I haven't listened to it.
It's horrible. There's some terrible audition tapes. Just go on YouTube if you want a good laugh. Just go on YouTube.
They're on YouTube?
People just post their own personal videos on YouTube, and it's just some people are just like, just don't do this. You're not gonna make it.
It will be weird going into the game and
not to have Grady
on there.
He said the mumbling thing when the opposing team would score, that was just an ad lib. He wasn't planning on doing it, but he's a fan, and they scored, and he's like, oh, LeBron. That's what he said.
I know. I loved it. I mean, he was so good at it. I mean, his voice was like the best for PA.
Yeah.
On radio, he is the best radio voice.
I can't hear you, Pacer fans. Yeah, that stuff.
Yeah.
So this would be the fourth PA announcer in Pacer history. Did you know that? Only the fourth. This upcoming
I hope that
one.
Nets opportunity is worth it.
And this guy's, and I mean, I'm sorry, like, unless someone else gets fired and we need someone, like, this next guy is going to be an amateur. Like, think about this for a second. The person who probably is going to be the next Pacers PA announcer was probably, like, still working, like, his tax accounting job if Michael Gray doesn't leave. Yeah. So this guy is probably not going to be that good. Yeah, but hopefully.
Brett Brown, I mean, some sports guy. No, I don't know.
Not good. Not good. I don't know. I got really bad. Like,
I know.
I'm sorry. Like,
you lose your GM, you lose your star player, you change everything. Oh, and your PA announcer's gonna leave. Like, oh my god.
I have no vendetta with the producer Kyle guy, but holy crap! I'm sorry.
You.
I mean, you guys talk about something else. I don't know if I'll listen.
All right, we can just skip to our bold predictions for the season.
Okay, bold predictions
for the Pacers. Bold prediction. Who will the Pacers have an All-Star? There's a question. In the East, that's empty. Yes, and who will it be?
I hate saying this because I love Miles. I don't see Miles being an all-star. I feel like he's going to have those games where, like the first game last season, he was like 30-some points and just killed it, and then he drops off. Oh, here we go.
He sounds very Indiana.
Roberson.
Number 13, Paul George.
Boo.
Just wait till he gets till the Pacers.
No.
It's just cringe.
No.
It's the end of his words that it gets it.
Yeah. I think it's the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Oh, it's just the end of
the words. I'm sorry.
No, nothing. Never mind. Let's just move on.
So, my bold prediction, they're going to hate me for this. My bold prediction, I already said one of them, that Joseph starts at some point this season. The Pacers do not make the playoffs.
Okay. In the East.
Yep. It's a sad bold, but that's my bold prediction.
I was just getting
ready for my prediction.
I was just getting excited.
It involves the Pacers in a championship. Just keep on going.
Didn't you do that one last year?
I'm doing it every year.
Okay. He's just going to do it just to say he predicted it.
Okay.
I'm afraid, me personally, it's kind of happening what happened last year, where you're on paper, you're like, this team actually could be pretty good. I'm not, they're not going to commit for a championship or anything, but I think they can actually make playoffs. I need to come down a notch, I think. So, making the playoffs, I think they'll make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I think we do have an all-star. It's Oladipo or Turner. It has to be one of those two.
I can't wait for mine.
They're going to be the 9th seed or 8th seed again.
I don't see
The 9th seed is not a thing.
McMillan making it past this
That's
season.
right. 8th seed,
That's
7th
another
seed,
one.
8th seed. What'd you say?
I don't see McMillan making it past this season. I think
No,
next,
he will because this is the last year of his contract. He's going to let him walk.
No, I mean like next season he won't be the
yeah,
coach.
no, I
That's what I'm
guarantee
saying.
that one guaranteed. Thank you for billing on
All right, want to hear mine? I bet my
May?
bold predictions. My are Victor Oladipo and Miles Turner are both all-stars, and the Pacers make it to the second round of the playoffs. Take a team to 7 games.
So
In
what
the
seed?
second
What
round.
seed are they to make the playoffs?
They're going to be a 6th seed.
So they're going to upset.
Toronto
Washington.
or Washington.
Washington or the Bucks, I think. Because I think actually those 2 teams are better than Toronto. That's my bold
I can see
prediction.
him beating the Bucks.
I can see them beating the Bucks, and I can see them beating the Wizards.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Bradley Beal and John Wall against Darren Collison and
Oladipo.
I don't know. I like bold predictions here.
Well, anyway,
I mean,
first-
who knows? I mean, Oladipo could be a stud now that he's the alpha.
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 Not
First
a delta.
preseason game is what?
Wednesday.
Wednesday already?
Yeah.
Let me pull it up.
I know I'm right.
Good call. Wednesday against who?
I wasn't
I don't
paying
care.
Milwaukee.
attention
It's
that
in
much.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
All right, here, Ross. Let's get this right for the first time in the season. 1 for 1. Where can people find us?
Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, but mostly
We never
Twitter and
do.
Instagram. YouTube is the main one, which Zach was going to say. and
YouTube?
I took his line.
Oh, he did it already.
We're pretty active on Twitter. Give us a follow on Twitter,
Yeah.
everybody.
Give us a follow on Twitter, comment. We'll put your questions and videos on here. Obviously, YouTube. If you're watching this, like, subscribe, tell your friends about us. Google, SoundCloud.
SoundCloud. I don't know if you've heard this. Huge. SoundCloud. No. SoundCloud is huge.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's
If you're-
blowing up mainly in China right now, but it's huge.
SoundCloud.
And if you're on a
iTunes.
game, oh my goodness,
iTunes and Google Play as well.
SoundCloud. We're gonna make that a
So
real thing.
follow us on there,
Make a
mainly
shirt.
SoundCloud, and we'll catch you next Monday. And also listen to our Eastern Conference Over and Under podcast, which will be right above this one.
All right. Ray Ross.
Take care.
Go Turner's block. See ya.
Peace.